Okay, so I'm here at Spiritland in King's Cross with Ned Doheny. Welcome to Camden Town Radio.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Great. Now, you've just been doing a talk session here this evening, but you were on at the Jazz Cafe in Camden Town last night, which we were able to cover. And it was a great gig, a great audience there.
Yeah, the audiences, ever since I've come to England, the audiences have really been spectacular.
Yes.
And I last night was particularly so, and I brought two background singers to kind of help flesh it out, and since London is kind of the center of everything, I wanted to make sure that they had a proper experience, and it turned out it was wonderful for all of us. We had a really great time.
No, it was a great atmosphere there, and I think the audience was very pleased that you did a mixture from your whole back catalogue, really.
Yes.
Right, great. And now, home for you is Malibu, is that correct?
Yeah, southern Malibu, just above Topanga. Malibu is on the sort of northern edge of Los Angeles. I'm technically still in LA County.
Okay. All right. So,
but I'm a stone's throw from the ocean.
Great. And it was a great gig at the Jazz Cafe last night, but this evening you've been doing something slightly different. You've been hosting a talk session at Spiritland here in King's Cross. Is that something that you do often, these sort of sessions?
No, not really. Actually, no, it was a treat for me.
Yeah.
I thought there would be two people, and there were a few more than that, and I thought it was well handled, and it was so wonderful to hear the tunes on giant speakers.
Yes. Yeah, they've got a great sound system here.
Oh my God! It just really took me back to another place in time.
Yeah, it was like being in a recording studio, I think, in this venue.
Very much so.
Yes.
They were playing a remix of "Labor of Love" by a friend of mine.
Yes.
A friend of ours, Kenny Dickinson. And I didn't hear any of the bass notes until I came here.
Yes. Oh, well, you certainly got to hear them on these speakers, yes.
It was madness.
It was.
There was a bass note in there that makes your teeth rattle. It's fabulous.
Yes, it was absolutely amazing. Well, we're going to do a quick sort of whistle-stop tour through your career now. So going back to the early days, now we cover a lot of music here on Camden Town Radio, and we're very interested in some of your albums from the late 70s, where you worked with, I think you referred to earlier, some of the best studio musicians in Hollywood, really.
Yeah.
So you've worked with the likes of David Foster, the Porcaros. Now, what was it like working with those guys in the studio?
Well, I think one of the lovely things about working with studio people, studio people can become kind of jaded, and they have to play so many different things that they don't, they're not really there 100% because they don't have to be. But the great thing is, if there's a really good tune, then they recognize that and they rise to the occasion. I have never had a bad experience working with the pros.
Yes, and I believe, David, you said surprised you by his musicality in the studio and how quickly he...
Oh, God, yeah. I just wanted to slap him. He's one of those people who he just has very rare ears, and he's very well trained, and he can just listen to stuff. And I'm better than that than I was when I made those records. I'm much better at that now. But he's just, man, he can hear it and he can write it down while it's playing. How about that? Amazing.
That's great. And the Porcaros as well. Do you have memories of working with the Porcaros in this?
Well, actually, I worked with Jeff. I forget what the name of the tune was, and also I worked with his brother.
Yes,
bass player.
That's right. Yes, Mike.
Mike went to. Mike and I met Mike when one of the first bigger tours that I did in Japan, and the rhythm section was Mike Porcaro and Carlos Vega.
Oh yes.
And both gone.
That's right. Yes, sadly.
And Jeff.
Yes.
So if there's anybody you want to remind them of how much you love them, pick up the phone and do it now.
Yes, no, that's very good advice, certainly. I guess the one thing at least we have got is a great legacy of music from those guys. And,
yes, that's true.
Yes, and I think people as we found out tonight, your early albums and all your albums are very fondly remembered, and people have their own memories of them, and I think they stand the test of time very well. I think it would be fair to say, with not just the songs, but the musicians that were involved. They're very much...
Yeah, it was lovely to be a part of it all, truly.
Yes, that's great. Okay, now bringing things more up to the present day. Now, I believe you have visited Camden Town a couple of times before. Is that right?
I think I've only played at the Jazz Cafe twice, including last night.
Yes.
And the first time was with Hamish.
Ah, yes.
the Troops, and I was a little surprised actually that the Jazz Cafe wanted me to come by myself.
Yes, oh yes. Well, they're very open to things because they have a wide variety of music from acoustic to, well, 8-piece jazz bands and all sorts. So
well, and that's a long
yes.
set. I mean, 90 minutes is a long time to listen to one guy with a guitar.
That's right.
That's a long time.
Yes.
So I figured I could keep them from getting too terribly bored if I brought in some ringers.
Yeah, well, I think it worked well with the backing singers.
Oh, yeah.
Second
that was really fun.
But no, they're usually a very intelligent audience, Jazz Cafe, very knowledgeable on albums and artists, very much so. I mean, I've been there and people have gone up to, well, there's been people in the audience from other bands and people have recognised them who've been the crowd in the Jazz Cafe. You know, I was in once with Al Di Meola and John McLaughlin was in the audience. And people recognised him and were going up to him in the Jazz Cafe. And,
yeah, John McLaughlin, what a monster. God.
Yes, well, he was in the audience for Al Di Meola. And there's big, you know, a lot of Americans come over, I'm sure you know, to the Jazz Cafe.
Yes.
And, Lee Rupner came over.
Yeah,
and,
good friend of mine.
Yeah, so it'd be great. And you really have worked with the greats over the years. I mean, you mentioned earlier on this evening, you know, Joni Mitchell was on the same label, I believe, in your early days. And
yeah, I mean, I don't think any of us realized at the time how famous many of those people were going to be.
Yes.
I mean, I was in the Troubadour the first time the Eagles ever played there, and they were themselves with nerves.
Oh,
so,
okay, yes.
Yeah,
you have a long association with the Eagles.
Yeah.
Explain to our listeners there, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do.
Well, great. Now, as I say, bringing things again up to the present day. Now, what are your current plans for new music and the like?
I'm just trying to. I'm putting myself in front of people so that I can remember why I do what I do.
Yes.
And also, you know, when people tell you how much what you've done means to them.
Yes.
They're kind of giving you something back. So, you know, that I think is a really great reason to maybe leave them with a few more things.
Absolutely. And you mentioned earlier you are working on some new tracks right now.
Yeah, everything has changed, but honestly, I would like to go in and do some stuff, you know, with a proper rhythm section and not computer my way through. And I'm really good with computers. I have no problem making things feel natural, and that's easy for me. But honestly, I want to try and get back into the business of capture.
Yes. Real drums, real bass.
Yeah, and also where you go for the best moment that you can possibly get. And
yes.
You know, it was funny because I was going over some of the tempos before we did the show. I was doing the show with the background vocalist, and I was trying to clock the tempo in one of the tunes, and it started off at 119, and then in the middle it went up to 120.
Oh, yes.
Went as high as 121, back down to 120. So the stuff moves and it shifts, and I think there's something really compelling physically.
Yes.
About that kind of thing, because your body isn't really a metronome, and if something's perfect, your body doesn't even notice it.
Yes, no, that absolutely would be the case. Yes, and touching on working with live musicians, real musicians, obviously a great session scene in Los Angeles when you were working there. We're interested that you've worked with several great guitarists. I mean, Steve Cropper being one, Steve Lukather another. Did you find over the years that you very much, you know, sort of traded off each other and taught each other things over the years?
Well, I think there was a lot of cross-pollination during that period of time, and I think everybody influenced everybody.
Yes.
And especially, you know, I know that I certainly borrowed things from, you know, I stole some of Jackson's work ethic, and I know that some of the Asylum people borrowed from me heavily too.
Yes.
And but it was done, and it had a good spirit, and it wasn't malicious or anything like that.
Collaborative atmosphere and
I mean, it's one of those times when competition is healthy, not sick.
No, that's right. Yes, I'll just explain to the listeners that Jackson Browne was somebody who you worked very closely with a lot as well.
We were friends for a really long time. As a matter of fact, we were hanging out together when he wrote the first album, which I still think are the best tunes he ever wrote.
Yes.
But you know, we were. I remember sitting there with him and listening to him playing back to me. So.
Yes, that's great. Now, when you do come over to London, do you get much time to do any sightseeing, anything like that?
Oh, this time a little. As it all turns out.
Right.
I'm pinting my way through Soho.
Oh, okay, right. Yes, frequenting the
pinting
many
and
bars.
punting.
Yes. What about Camden Town itself? You've been heading out to the markets or anything like this? Or?
No, not really. Just trying to eat well and you know, maintain my sense of humor.
Yes.
Which doesn't seem to take much maintenance, as it all turns out.
No. And after today, does your tour continue?
We have one more date in Hastings on the 9th.
Oh, right. Yes.
10th? Oh, 10th.
Okay.
Yes, on the 10th. So I'll be here for the rest of the week, and I'll be, you know, wandering through Soho and having a marvelous time. Really fun. The weather's great. Everything's good. Happy to be here.
Okay. But then you'll be heading home to Los Angeles shortly after? Or?
Yes, back to Los Angeles. I may have to go to. I lost a number of people this year, and I unfortunately I may have to fly back to Sun Valley to say goodbye to my. One of my cousins, my favorite cousin.
Oh, gosh.
And then in October, it looks like we're going to go to Japan.
Right. Okay. For a tour?
No, just my wife's Japanese. So
okay. Right.
We go and sit in large pools of incredibly hot water and drink lots of sake.
Okay. I was going to ask you how
which doesn't suck.
I was going to ask you how you relax, but I think you've answered it. That question. Yes. Okay. Well, thanks very much, Ned, for taking the time to speak to Camden Town Radio today. It's been great to have you on the show. Thank you. And we wish you the best with your future music and also any future shows.
Well, I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you. Yes, we'd love to come down to another show for sure. Maybe even we do occasionally travel to other countries to see shows, so we may even make it across the pond.
That would be good. Well, I've been there's been some interest in the United States about my playing there, much to my amazement.
Right.
Since I've always felt the United States kind of turned its back on me. But no, actually not. So enough time has gone by so that I've become an object of interest. Probably because I'm still alive.
Yeah, well, which will be reminding people on the station. But,
so I'm going to go out and find out if people in America are as nice as they are in England.
Yes. Okay, so maybe we'll be doing an American tour sometime soon.
I think that would be really fun.
Yeah.
I mean, America doesn't have quite the history that England or Ireland does, so it's not, you know.
I suppose it might be interesting to see how people remember your songs there compared
That's
to here.
What it interests me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What connection people make with
there's a lot. I'm getting a lot of chatter on the internet about that, and you know, there's some places I'd like to go. People have been asking, so.
Yes, and I guess just a last thing. I mean, we mentioned there about the, you know, it was great in the days of less technology with sort of interaction with musicians, but I guess one plus point of the technology today, and I think you touched on it earlier, is that it means you can get in touch with, you know, people from the past who you've lost touch with over the years.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, great. And do you have a message for your fans out there?
Yeah, come and see me.
Yeah. All right, that's great. Well, we hope they will.
And listen to that music.
Yes. And where's the best website for people to find out about your
Well, unfortunately, my website is a little feeble. I mean, I'm at neddoheny.com, but you know, honestly, I definitely need a revamp, and it looks like there's enough going on that I'm actually going to have to change that to provide information.
Okay.
At the moment, it's just sort of sitting there. So.
All right. Have you got into sort of tweeting on Twitter?
I'm not much. I'm not really a social media guy. My head's not really there, but you know, I'm going to have to. Like, there was a lovely girl that came over and spoke to me tonight, and she was, you know. She was deeply upset that she didn't make the gig last night because she never heard about it. And I think that may be true in a lot of other cases too. So see if I can't be a little more creative about alerting.
Yes. Well, we put the word out earlier this week that you were coming to town, and
well, thank you very much for that.
We'll be reminding listeners again because as I say, we do cover every week what's on in Camden Town, and when we saw you were on, we thought, well, that's one we're certainly going to have to cover this week.
Well, thanks for that. And I didn't have to play for 5 people last night, so it was great.
It was a great... well, we go to the Jazz Cafe a lot, and I can tell you that it's not always as lively and vibrant an audience. Sometimes it can be a little bit quiet some nights, so you got a really good... You did get
they were lively, all right.
No, you got a very good audience last night, so it was a great show. Well, thanks again, Ned. It's been great to have you on this show, and we wish you the best in the future.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Ned Doheny on Camden Town Radio. Keep rocking.
Keeps telling you, don't fight never calls, climb the walls, wondering where she's spending the night. The girl's got a hold on your mind. There's no room for another. In between, there's a lot to explain when you can't help but love her. Even if it breaks your heart, yeah. You tell yourself, don't lose it, boy. Nobody's gonna do you this way. You never know what love will show. Doesn't seem much to do left but pray. Girl's got a world on her mind. There's no room for another. In between, you're down in love to know why you can't help but love her. Got a hold on your mind. There's no room for another. In between, there's a lot to explain when you can't help but love her. The girl's got a world on her mind. There's no room for another. Why you can't help but love her, even if it breaks your